Coverage of the 2019 Rockets football season is brought to you in part by Louise Condon Realty, representing buyers and sellers since 1985.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Wellesley High School, as today is the 132nd installment of the oldest public high school football rivalry in the country, the Wellesley Raiders playing host to the Needham Rockets. Good morning, everybody. Happy Thanksgiving. Welcome to today's coverage on both Wellesley Media and the Needham Channel. Robbie Johnson, Mike Levin here with you. Mike, happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving, Robbie.
Needham coming into a bit of a struggle this year. Why don't you give us a quick recap of the 2019 Rockets?
Well, they had two tough losses to begin the season against Natick and Tewksbury, but they really hit their stride around the mid-season. They had a big win over Braintree. They finished with a tremendous victory over Walpole to get into the playoffs. So Needham obviously up and down, but ultimately it's been fun.
Yeah, and Wellesley coming in 8-2, fell to Natick in the Division II South semifinals, but did bounce back for a nice win against King Philip. As like I said, they enter Thanksgiving at 8-2. And as we always do on these Thanksgiving broadcasts, we're now going to throw to the senior send-off for the seniors who in just a matter of moments will be playing their final game in a high school uniform.
Matt Mayona, quarterback, captain.
Holt Fletcher, inside linebacker, offensive tackle, captain.
Chris Altoff, safety, slot receiver, captain.
Griffin Renzella, center, inside linebacker, captain.
Ben Buckley, slot receiver.
Kevin Kennedy, kicker.
Henry Gear, slot receiver.
Ryan Wesley, outside linebacker, tight end.
Jameer Pritchard, corner.
Xander Marcoux, wide receiver.
Teddy Kimyati, wide receiver.
Matt Siegel, running back, outside linebacker.
Grady Cook, special teams.
Joshua Ortega, special teams.
Clarence By, D tackle.
Anthony Cristoforo, defensive end, offensive guard.
Matt Morris, offensive guard.
Matthew Nato, punt return.
Corey Jones, Terminator, defensive end and offensive tackle.
Thatcher McConga, D end and offensive tackle.
Lee Tickton, defensive end. Jonathan Hahn, kicker.
Tyler Reed, senior captain, number 25, running back.
Rodari Hibbert, senior captain, number 3, wide receiver.
Ryan Villa, number 68, right tackle, senior captain.
Evan Santos Stefano, number 4, safety.
Marco Belibasakis, number 5, safety.
Mikey Antea, number 6, safety.
Griffin Leary, number 10, defensive end.
Tim Morley, number 14, corner.
Chris Simeone, number 15, linebacker.
Adam Buamra, number 36, safety.
Jack Conley, number 39, linebacker.
Z, number 49, defensive end.
Connor O'Brien, number 53, D-line.
Niall Dolan, number 54, defensive end.
Sam Saunders, number 61, outside linebacker.
Kevin Clem, number 69, defensive tackle.
Cooper O'Mara, 71, defensive end.
James Van Leeuwen, number 75, left tackle.
Max Pisano, number 79, center.
Dan Warner, 85, tight end.
Leo Brantley, number 94, defensive tackle.
Matt Hood, number 95, defensive end.
And we're back here. Again, another lovely tribute to the seniors of both these programs. And Mike, we always talk on these broadcasts about what a special day is, especially for the seniors. Last game in a high school uniform, playing their arch rival. As we see right now on the field, they're doing the senior introductions and the senior walk, but just a really special moment for these guys who get to put on this high school uniform for one more time here on Thanksgiving.
In the oldest public high school football rivalry in the country. And yeah, it's absolutely a very, very special day for these seniors who get to play their last game, you know, on this field. I mean, whether it's here or Needham, obviously, no matter where it is. It's such a special occasion. I mean, every year it just seems to be such a big thing, and it always helps when it's a close game, an exciting game. But even in the games that aren't, it's just such a happening. You get so many people out here. It's such a fun atmosphere to be a part of, whether you're, you know, a player, a coach, a fan, a broadcaster. This is honestly, like, it's one of the highlights for me. I mean, this is actually the first time that I'm on the microphone for a Thanksgiving football game in 15 years. So it's an honor for me. But yeah, for these kids who are on the field, it's such a memorable game.
Absolutely, and I mean, you're absolutely right. I mean, all these games, no matter what the records are, they always tend to be exciting. I know Needham pulled out last year's game in a thriller, 14-13 at Memorial Field. And what was one of the coldest Thanksgiving I think in recent
on record
ever.
I think it's
ever on record. Yeah, that one definitely compared to this year, night and day compared to last year's game. But yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, 14-13 last year. I mean, and we've just had so many special games like over the years. I mean, you think back 2015, obviously Fenway Park in Boston. What a thriller that was for both these teams. I mean, it's
2010, obviously. 2007, there were two big overtime for Needham. 2009, for Wellesley. And if we go really far back, there's one that I'll talk about later, back in 1994, that's really memorable for several reasons. I'll talk about that maybe towards the end of the broadcast.
Definitely, but and the other thing about these Thanksgiving rivalries is the crowd. I mean, everybody really turns out for this game. We can even see right now the crowd still filing in, but I mean, both sides have started to really fill up. I mean, we got here, you know, about 8:30 this morning. There were already a couple of people trickling in, but really has filled in since then. And
some of us were here even earlier than that.
It
was still dark out.
But always both teams meeting at midfield. I'll be honest, I missed who won the coin toss during that conversation, but we will find out here.
It's a secret.
Yeah, shortly. But it is now time, as always, to throw it to the national anthem as both teams are taking their helmets off. So we're going to step aside for a moment. We'll be right back after the national anthem.
Please remain seated. Our great nation has persevered through the leadership and sacrifices of men and women who have served or are currently serving in our armed forces. We invite both veterans and current military personnel to please stand. Our country. Now we invite all to stand for the singing of our national anthem. The anthem will be performed by Wellesley High School senior Sydney Bronstein.
we're back. A lovely rendition of the national anthem performed by a Wellesley High School senior right there. And now just about ready for the kickoff. As I said, the 132nd installment of this oldest public high school football rivalry in the country. And
that's always something that's so fun to say, that we're part of a tradition that dates back that far, 1882.
Yeah, and you kind of look back, the older scores from those games in the 1880s, a lot different.
4-0 was the first one?
4-0, yeah, 1-0,
the second one,
4-0. Yeah, I mean, it's been quite the rivalry. Wellesley currently leading the overall rivalry, 62-60, with 9 ties entering today. Of course,
9 ties.
Of course, as I said, Needham won last year. It does look like that Wellesley will receive to begin things here as we get ready to go. And so Needham will kick off. It'll be, I believe that
Chuckow is the kicker.
Yeah, Samuel Chuckow kicking off for the Rockets. And we are underway in this 132nd installment. As the ball comes down to James Dolan about the 10-yard line, he takes it up. Dolan has a seam and gets out across the 35-yard line before he's taken down. So good return there for James Dolan to set the Raiders up with good field position at about their own 35-yard line under the direction of senior quarterback Matt Maiona.
Dolan with a nice return there. He sort of was really looking right up the middle there, and if he had, I guess he was just trying to get a little bit farther, and he quite honestly almost made it through that that little mess of white jerseys, but Rockets were able to take him down.
Yeah, so it'll be 1st and 10 for the Raiders. Ball at the 35-yard line, 36-yard line, excuse me. Maiona out of the gun, single back, 3 receivers split out, and it's a handoff here to, I believe that's John Marvin on the carry, and Matt Siegel carried the ball on the opening play for the Raiders, and he gets stacked up for short gain on that play, minimal gain, maybe even no gain, and we'll bring up 2nd down 10 here for the Raiders.
Yeah, the Rockets with a nice job getting to Siegel. I was like you, I wasn't exactly sure who who got that.
It is hard to see the numbers from up here, Mike.
Well, plus it's a little cold, so I'm like trying to get to my Wellesley roster and see who it was.
Yeah, they
gain
say,
of what, 2?
They do say a pickup of 2, so it'll be 2nd down 8 from the 38. Maiona again out of the gun. He's going to keep it to his left. He's got some room to run. Bounces outside. Maiona going down the sideline across the Needham 40 and pushed out of bounds at about the Needham 30-yard line. And Matt Maiona, certainly capable of keeping the ball himself. We saw right there, had a nice little hole on that left side and takes it into Needham territory.
Yeah, as soon as Maiona got his hands on that ball, you could sort of see that play develop to the outside. Well, I guess it was to the, would it be considered the outside, but to the near side?
The near side, yeah. left hand side.
He did a great job. He got some great blocks, and Maiona clearly, I mean, he's a great runner. First chance I've seen him this year, but we've seen him a couple straight years. This is his 3rd straight Thanksgiving, right?
3rd straight Thanksgiving, and a very interesting side note as we watch this 1st down play. It's a handoff here. Again, that's Siegel. He bounces outside across the 20, still on his feet, gets down close to the 10-yard line, and is finally tripped up. Another 1st down yard. We do have a flag on the play, though. We'll have to check that. And looks, unfortunately, for the Raiders to be in the area of holding. Yes, it is. So that will come back. So, unfortunately, Siegel's run there all for naught, as the Raiders will be pushed back here due to a penalty.
Yeah, it looked like the Raiders were on a roll and going to be quickly getting to the end zone with those runs. But yeah, this one's coming back, and if you're a Needham Rocket fan, you're breathing a sigh of relief because that's coming back 10 yards.
Certainly, and you know, we talked, and what I was about to say before that play was that Matt Maiona, it's interesting, his career as the starting quarterback has kind of come full circle today, as his first varsity start at quarterback was in this game 2 years ago here at home in a Raider victory. So looking to try to sort of end his career the way it started with the victory here today. 1st and 17 is Maiona back to pass. His screen pass, and that ball is caught and bouncing off a tackle there. That was Chris Altoff, and looks to have the 1st down inside the Needham 20, close to the Needham 15-yard line. So that little bubble screen there to the near side works wonders for the Raiders right there.
Yeah, Altoff made a great move after catching a short route there, and that's going to get a 1st down. Yeah, it went from the 37 to about the
17.
17, yeah. Perfect, 10 yards.
So first down and 10, they'll call it at the 17-yard line. Raiders, by the way, moving from right to left on your television screens here on a, like I said, overcast. Sun was trying to peek out earlier, but at least it's not raining like it was when we got up this morning. So a handoff there. It's Siegel, and he's in for a Raider touchdown. Matthew Siegel, wide open hole there on the left side, and he carries it basically untouched to the end zone with 9:51 to go in this opening quarter. The Raiders strike first at 6-0.
Yeah, seriously, I don't think a single Rocket player got a hand on Siegel right there. He just went right up the middle, gets right into the end zone, 17 yards, Wellesley touchdown.
And it'll be Kevin Canaday on to attempt the extra point. So even despite the holding penalty, the Raiders able to get on the board here early as we have a flag and offside against Needham. So they're going to get to attempt this extra point from half a distance to the goal, closer than they are right now. And yeah, big start for Wellesley. You can even just tell, Mike, on that opening kickoff, great return by Dolan, and then a couple of really good runs set the Raiders up in the red zone, and Matt Siegel takes advantage with the 17-yard touchdown run.
Yeah, Wellesley setting the tone early in this game with that score. And they rebound after the holding penalty.
Exactly. The kick is up, and it is good. So again, 9:51 to go, opening quarter, and the Raiders already on top here, 7-0 this morning. So handoff's going to be there. It's Siegel, and he's in for a Raider touchdown. Here, so we'll see how they respond.
Well, one thing that I have noticed about Needham this year, even in some of the early games where they did get beat, they would have at least one or two plays or drives where they would do really well. I remember the Tewksbury game, which was the home opener. I think Tewksbury might have even scored on their first drive. Needham responded and scored a touchdown quickly. So when Needham scores, they score quickly, or sometimes when Needham scores. A lot of times this year, it's been interesting with Needham. So that's one thing about the Rockets, is that you kind of have to watch, because after a drive like that, you never know. And the Rockets have guys that can do that. Tyler Reed, Odari Hibberts come to mind right off the bat, because those guys are fast and they can score quick.
Certainly, and the Rockets definitely looking for points this year. They're coming in just averaging 12.6 points per game offensively, whereas the Raiders averaging 27.4 points per game offensively. So definitely a tale of two offenses this year.
In the first couple of games, I don't think they scored more than 7. I think the first 4 games they only scored 7.
So Canaday with the kickoff. It comes down here at about the 20-yard line. That's Hibberts on the return. Odari Hibberts, he's got some room to run out across midfield, going down the near sideline. Canaday will knock him out of bounds at about the 40-yard line of Wellesley. So kind of a big play there that Needham was looking for right there on the kickoff. So Odari Hibberts with the big return there set the Rockets up in good field position.
That's exactly what you want if you're the Rockets. When you have Hibberts and you have the speed of Odari Hibberts playing in his last game as a senior, that's exactly the kind of big play that the Rockets are capable of. And, the thing is that Wellesley is a good enough team that I have a funny feeling that they're going to try to limit a lot of those kinds of things. Hibberts is a great player, so we'll see if Wellesley can do that, and that's obviously going to be a key for them.
Certainly. So the Rockets will start first and 10 at the Raider 40-yard line under the direction of William McDonald, at quarterback, as we have a man in motion, and it's a give to the outside, and stacked up going nowhere there. That is Chuck Dow. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly. Oh, we have a fumble! Fumble recovered by the Raiders! Wow! I kind of looked down as soon as they made the hit, and sure enough, the Raiders were able to force the fumble there. So, wow, first play from scrimmage for the Rockets. They turn it over. Wellesley is going to get the ball right back here. First and 10 at their own 40-yard line.
Well, that's no good if you're a Needham fan, right? No, I mean, if you're Wellesley, you want to immediately make a statement with that one after Odari had that big return, and Wellesley forces the fumble, gets the recovery. That is huge for the Raiders.
Certainly. So it'll be first and 10 for the Raiders at their own 39-yard line. So Mayona and the offense back out here quickly. As again, we have 4 receivers split this time. Now Mayona back to throw. He's looking long, and he's going to be picked off. So just like that, Needham returns the favor as that pass was intercepted. That was Jakari London on the the interception. So Needham returns the favor, like I said right there, with an a turnover of their own.
This is starting to remind me a lot of this 1994 game I was telling you about, because in the second quarter of that game, you had constantly, it was turnover, like on back-to-back plays. It's interesting, but yeah, Rockets. London does a great job just sort of, seeing where that ball was going, knowing exactly where it was going, and getting that interception.
So 1st and 10 for the Rockets at their own 35 after the INT. Again, McDonald out of the gun, man in motion, that's Hibberts. And a handoff here, and again, going nowhere there. Not fumbling, though, but that was Tyler Reed, the ball carrier, and he stacked up for minimal to no gain on that play. So Raider defensive front, as they've done all season long, Mike, really doing a good job of stopping that run and really controlling the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, nowhere for Tyler Reed to go on that play, unfortunately, and that's one thing the Rockets are going to have to work on is, getting some holes on the offensive line and trying to get some more space for their backs.
So 2nd and 11, they actually say is a loss of one on the play.
Yeah.
2nd and 11 back to the 34 as McDonald back to throw, taking some pressure. He's hit, is able to get rid of it, but it's incomplete. It was intended there for Edgar Vasquez, but McDonald taking some serious pressure right there and forced to kind of get rid of it probably earlier than he wanted to, and it falls incomplete.
Well, one thing that's interesting about McDonald is at the beginning of the season, this is his first season behind the center for the Rockets, and when there was a play like that against, like, say, Natick or Tewksbury, he just would not be able to do anything with it. Right there, he's able to elude a guy, and he's actually able to get the pass off, not quite to the guy, but, that's a good play by McDonald to get rid of it.
No, definitely doing a good job to avoid the sack and make sure that's only 3rd and 11 as opposed to 3rd and a lot longer. Again, 3rd and 11 from the 34. McDonald back to throw. Getting a little bit more time here, although now the pocket collapses, and that pass is incomplete. It was intended there for number 85 on the Rockets. Having a little trouble fumbling through my roster here. Daniel Warner. Thank you, Mike. Yeah, with these cold hands, are having a little trouble fumbling through my roster. So, but yeah, pass falls incomplete. Needham will be forced to punt here, so unable to capitalize on the turnover there.
That's one of those times where you really miss some of the guys that graduated last year, like Matt Smith, Jack Burmis. You're getting it to them last year.
As the punt is a short kick, and that's going to go out of bounds at about the Raider 40-yard line. Actually, they're going to mark it up closer to the 45-yard line. So Wellesley, after a 3-and-out, will get the football back here. 8:31 left to go in this open quarter. Again, Wellesley with that early 7-0 lead.
I'm looking to see which way the wind is blowing. The American flag is blowing this way on this side, but then the flags on top of the upraise were blowing this way. It's like, I guess the wind is blowing in all directions, so it could be one of those days where
we're some meteorologists when you need one.
Yeah, seriously. I'm definitely not a meteorologist.
So 1st and 10, they spot the ball at the Raider 45-yard line. As Mayona will keep it this time to the right-hand side. He's got a little bit of room and pushes ahead. Maybe gains about 2 or 3 on that one before he's knocked out of bounds. So
not quite as much as the 32 he got on his first run back in the last drive. Still, what, 3 yards or so?
Yeah, picks up 3, so it'll be 2nd down 7 at about the 48-yard line. Yep, 2nd down 7, from the 48. So Raiders looking to march down the field here once again after, a good opening drive. Then, like I said, a turnover on their last time around, and the stands continue to get more and more packed in here, folks. Yeah. As we have 2nd down 7, a handoff here on the outside. That's Altoff. He tried to shake a tackle, couldn't quite do so, but does look to have enough for the first down. He had just enough room there on the near side and is able to pick up the first down into Rocket territory.
I'm very impressed with the way Wellesley comes to the outside. Going to the outside, they run very well, and they've done it a bunch of times already early in this game. Only, 4 minutes into this game?
Yeah. So 1st down and 10, they spot the Needham 43-yard line. As again, Mayona will have 4 receivers split out wide, a single back in the backfield, barking signals. Back to throw this time. He's going to complete it. And that is good enough for the first down out across the 30-yard line. So the Raiders able to move the chains once again.
That's a great pass by Mayona, you don't want to go too far like on the interception, so they, a short pass, but it gets some extra yards. You have sort of a shorter field anyways right now, so, Wellesley will pick up chunks of yardage en route to.
And that was Emmett Line was on the reception there.
How many yards was that, 10?
I think, yeah, because about 10 or 15 at least. As we have first down 10 at the 29. Mayona taking some pressure there and is forced to throw the ball away. So is able to get it away as it falls incomplete. So bring up second down here. And, Mike, it's interesting. This year, Massachusetts high school football moved, I know, to the federation rules, which has kind of sort of added some new kinks to things. It definitely gives the quarterbacks a lot less freedom in terms of throwing the ball out of bounds, makes it a lot tougher. But Mayona right there was able to sort of get that ball away and able to avoid the sack.
They always seem to change a few things every year in the MIAA, so it's all right.
As we have a handoff here, and stacked up after a minimal gain as ball gets about to the 25-yard line. So bring up
4 or 5 yards on that.
Yeah, so bring up a third down. It's hard with these Raider red jerseys to see the numbers from up here. I think that was all tough, but I'm not 100% sure on that, folks. And of course, you're announcing when you're trying to listen to the PA announcer as well. So they do say it's a gain of 5 though. So it's third down 5 from the 24 coming up here. So
this is a big, big defensive play for the Rockets here. If they can stop Wellesley, that would be huge.
Certainly is, and you have to wonder if you're Wellesley here, maybe a little two-down territory here as Mayona is going to keep it and tries to get to the corner, still on his feet and pushing ahead and looks to have the first down. Wow, Matt Mayona was sort of bottled up at about 3 or 4 defenders there, but yet somehow, some way, able to push it ahead for just enough to pick up the first down.
It looked like some pretty decent blocking there, and then he made some nice moves to get all that extra yardage. Yeah, I mean, that's a fantastic move by Mayona.
And just so you know, it's actually Matt Mayona. I've been calling him Mayona for the last 2 years. I was finally corrected this week leading up to Thanksgiving. That was Matt Mayona. So tried my best to kind of.
I'm glad I'm not the play-by-play announcer.
Yeah, exactly. So first 10 from the 17 as they give it to Altoff again. That time stacked up for a short gain on the play. Maybe got about 2 on that one. So good job by Needham defense there of stacking up that line for, like I said, a minimal gain.
Wow, the spot on that is better than I thought it would be.
Oh.
3.
Picks up 3 yards. So second down 7 coming up for the 14. So the Raiders back in the red zone again for the second time in their first 3 drives.
Trying to get some feeling.
Yeah, seriously. I mean, like I said, definitely better than last year, but still, the problem is we got the wind blowing from right behind
us. Okay, so yeah, it's going.
As Mayona will pass, there was a 10 there for Anthony Perez, but was broken up on the play. Good defensive play there for the Rockets. I believe that was number 5. Yes, that was.
I think it was London again. Wasn't it 8? Yeah, it was 8.
It was 8. Sorry, excuse me. Jakari London on the breakup there. Yeah, so falls incomplete, bring up a third down 7 here for the Raiders.
Yeah, London is a junior, so one good thing about him is that, on that defensive end in particular, he's starting to get better and better. So he's somebody definitely to watch next year for the Rockets, but also in this game.
Definitely so. Again, third down and 7 from the 14. As, again, 4 receivers split out wide. Single back is Siegel, and it gets stacked up right there. Good penetration there by that Needham defensive front. Siegel maybe picks up a yard on the play, so it's up a decision time here for the Raiders. 4th down and about 6 coming up, and it looks like from early indications like they're going to keep Mayona and the offense out on the field. Kevin Canaday would be your field goal kicker in this situation, but yeah, the Raiders are going to keep the offense out there here, so a big play coming up for both Wellesley and Needham defense. They're looking for a big stop here.
Yeah, Siegel, that was actually his first carry since the touchdown on the last drive.
Yeah.
Or I guess it would be 2 drives ago.
So 4th and 7 from the 14. Mayona back to throw, taking some pressure. He's got it. Perez over the middle, caught, touchdown, Raiders. Anthony Perez broke away at the back corner of the end zone, and Mayona threads it in there for a 14-yard touchdown reception. And with 4:36 to go in the open quarter, the Raiders extend that lead at 13-0.
I don't want to upset fans from Needham, but man, that was a beautiful route. It was a beautiful throw. That is just perfect. That's absolutely perfect.
Yeah, that was a great ball there by Mayona to Perez, and that's sort of been the dynamic duo passing-wise for the Raiders this season. As K&A's extra point is up, and it is good. And that's actually the first time him and Perez have hooked up today, but it definitely couldn't have come at a better time as the Raiders not only convert the fourth down, but convert it into a touchdown. And again, 4:36 up to this open quarter, and it's now 14-0 Wellesley.
And that's tough for Needham because it finally looked like their defense was starting to really clamp down on Wellesley. But that just shows you like how good Wellesley is this year, because they can, they're in a tough situation, fourth down play, and they go for it. They call the perfect play in that case. So I mean, that's a great play call by the Wellesley coaching staff too.
Certainly is. The Raiders coached by Jesse Davis, obviously an alum of this rivalry, 1999 alum, and Needham, coached by Doug Kopsko, second year. As Needham head coach. It's kind of interesting.
He's an alum as well from Needham.
Yeah, exactly. But it's kind of interesting, Mike, when you look at these
graduated with one of his brothers, actually.
Oh, okay. There you go. But it's kind of interesting. You look at these coaching staffs, Mike, and currently you have a head coach who's one of his assistants was the head coach that he coached under, because Bill Tracy for Wellesley was the head coach when Jesse Davis came on as an assistant coach for this program, and obviously Dave Duffy was the head coach.
Well, they actually,
Kopsko.
Needham has 3 generations of that, because Johan is still an assistant. He was the coach before Duffy.
That is true. That's a good point, as Needham with the return here gets it up across the 30-yard line, out close to the 32 it looks like, so that's where the Rockets will take over. But yeah, and that's one of the great things about this rivalry, Mike, is that guys come back, they start coaching after their playing days are done. Just a lot of real tie-ins with both these programs. It's really something special that you don't see in a lot of other places.
That's what's so great about these two programs, is you have situations like that, and you have people that, these programs mean something to a lot of people, and that's why they come back. And so it is great to see that on both sides.
So we have first down 10 for the Rockets at the 33, a handoff here. I believe that's Reed on the ball carry, and gets about 2 yards on the play before he was stacked up there. Needham
maybe one.
Needham trying to establish a run game here early, but that Wellesley defensive front really holding firm here in this opening quarter.
Yeah, Reed again, that's his second carry, and again, he just hasn't had a lot of room to do anything with it. And the thing is, if he does get that room, he is capable of some big, big plays.
So 2nd and 9, they do give him a gain of 1. 2nd and 9 to the 35 as McDonald back to throw. Taking some pressure, eludes a defender, and was able to get the pass off again. Incomplete though, but again, McDonald taking some terrific pressure there by the Wellesley defense, and was lucky to be able to get away and get the pass out there, even as it falls incomplete.
Well, and the rush was coming from, I think it was the both outside ends, and they converge on McDonald, and he's able to sort of get out a little bit. And that's great to see from McDonald, who's only a junior. So he's getting that. He really has gotten better and better and better as the season has progressed.
And by the way, that was Andrew Barnett, who was the intended receiver there. So 3rd down 9 coming up here at the 35. As McDonald back to throw, fires it across the middle. It's tipped up in the air and falls incomplete. Pass was intended for 83. That is Patrick Tolan. And so the Rockets again, for the second straight drive, will be forced to punt here.
Yeah, unfortunately, with that play, that one wasn't a particularly well-thrown ball, but yeah, the Wellesley defense there. Who was it that made that play to knock it away?
I honestly, I missed the number.
I missed it, yeah. Good play. I was going to say, a great play to knock it away, and yeah, Needham, this is what Wellesley wants. They want to limit the amount of time Needham has the ball.
And another short punt will be fielded here. I believe that is Altoff. Yeah, he bounced outside. He's got a little bit of room, but is able to be dragged down. A good open field tackle there. That was Reed on the tackle. And Altoff able to get it to the Raiders' 40-yard line, which is where the Raiders will take over. 3:27 left to go in the opening quarter.
Yeah, great return for Wellesley, but Reed was able to to stop him from getting a little bit more. I'm sure Wellesley would have liked to get even more on that. And they almost did. I would say they got some good yardage there, so it's a little tough for Needham. I mean, for the punt, when you're punting in this weather, it's just
no, definitely the
we'll
wind.
Be saying that,
The wind is a factor here today. That's for sure. It'll be 1st and 10 from the 40. Man in motion. That is Siegel, and Altoff. Altoff was the ball carrier there, and he gets stacked up there for minimal gain on the play.
Altoff looked like he stumbled a little bit when he first got the ball, but then he sort of recovered and then didn't really get much. But
well, and Mike, we were talking about sort of before the game started about how it's kind of nice, these last couple of times they've played here, with the new turf field here in Wellesley. It's definitely a lot easier footing. Back when we had the old grass field, there people slipping, a day like today, people would be slipping, sliding all over the place.
Yeah, there'd be a lot of mud.
So 2nd down and 7, ball spot the 43 as Mayona back to throw, and pass is incomplete there along the far sideline. So 3rd down and long coming up here for the Raiders. So the Rockets, perhaps looking for a big 3-and-out here after 2 straight 3-and-outs of their own offensively.
It's interesting with Mayona. He's actually, I think that's his 7th attempt in this. He has three completions. Obviously, the last one was the biggest one with the 14-yard touchdown. But yeah, there's been some plays where he just hasn't been able to get it to the guy, so it's interesting to see. And again, another big 3rd down for the Rockets coming up.
Raiders going 5 wide receivers, empty backfield. Mayona barking signals, takes the snap, looking. Now he's going to throw, and it's going to be, no, they're going to say out of bounds. Looked like that was about to be a dynamic catch there on that far sideline, but unfortunately ruled that there was a foot on the line there, so the Raiders are going to be forced to punt here. As, by the way, Mayona is the punter, so don't be alarmed. Don't be alarmed by the fact that he is still out there.
It was interesting because I couldn't quite see. I was a little worried because I thought he had caught it and he was in bounds, but obviously it's on the far sideline. Oh, that's a fake.
Oh, Mayona back to throw, eludes pressure. He's coming back near side, throws and overshoots the receiver. That was Wendner Cadet was the receiver. He was open on that one, but we talk about this wind. Mayona just sort of lofted a little bit too much, so it falls incomplete. Now the Rockets are going to take over in Wellesley territory here.
Yeah, that was a very interesting play because it looked like Niall Dolan was going to get him not long after he snapped that ball, but he was able to sort of fake Dolan out, and he had that opportunity. But I don't know if it's the wind, if he just threw it a little bit too far, but Rockets are breathing a sigh of relief on that one.
Yeah, because Cadet was open on that one.
And they have great field position, the Rockets, in Wellesley territory now.
So 1st and 10 from the 43 as McDonald's going to hand it off here to Reed. Tyler Reed bounces outside. Tyler Reed still on his feet. Reed going down the far sideline and take it down inside the Wellesley 25-yard line. So you were talking about, Mike, how Tyler Reed, if he gets some amount of space, can really break off some big plays, and we saw it right there as he picks up about 20 yards on that 1st down run.
Yeah, and that's the thing is that a lot of, so far I think the first 2 carries, it's just been straight draw plays up the middle. That one was a little bit, I don't know if you call that an off tackle or something like that, where he went a little bit to the outside, got some blocking, but also made something happen, and yeah, he gets about 20 yards.
So 1st and 10 from the 23. As now McDonald under center this time. 2 backs in the backfield. McDonald's going to roll to his left. He fires it incomplete as that pass was intended there for, I believe that was Warner on the near side. So again, McDonald taking some pressure and was able to get rid of it, but falls incomplete. 2nd down and 10 coming up.
Yeah, that looked like it was going to be a really nice play for Needham, but he couldn't quite connect with Warner there, unfortunately. Well, they got another shot, right?
Yeah, 2nd down and 10 at the 23 as, again, McDonald gives it to Reed this time, and this time met for nothing. May have actually lost a couple of yards on the play as Wellesley was not going to allow him any space to run on that one.
Yeah, I think he lost at least a yard on that one, but yeah, Wellesley's defense, they are tough, obviously, and if you don't get that, help, you're not going to really go anywhere.
Yeah, they say no gain on the play, so I'm surprised. I thought he had lost at least a yard on that, but no gain, so bring up a 3rd down and 10 for the Rockets at the 23. And you got to think like this has got to be 2-down territory here for the Rockets, especially down 14-0 early, especially down 14-0 early.
And in this wind, I don't think you're kicking right now anyways.
As
so.
McDonald's going to roll out. He is throwing. It's almost hauled in there by Hibbert, the intended receiver. Perez with some good coverage there on the outside, but
yeah, who's the defensive back that just made that play? Because that was a nice play.
I'm trying to get the number. It's either Perez or Dolan, but again, it's hard to see with these Wellesley red uniforms. Some of these numbers are hard to tell, but yeah, you're right. It was a good play. I believe that was Perez.
And that was a great play call by the Rockets coaching staff. And, you know, Hibbert was in the right spot. You know, it was a great throw. So, I mean, that looked like it was going to be a perfect play for the Rockets. But unfortunately, at the last minute, defender gets his hand in there.
And Wellesley, it looks like, is going to take a timeout. Yes, they are to talk things over here, as Needham was definitely no decision really. No time to make a decision there. They were gonna go for it. So we'll see again. 4th and 10 from the 23 coming up. And Mike, while we have a moment, it's like, you know, we talk about this rivalry and, you know, 132nd year, but across the state today, you have so many other great rivalries taking place. You look just down there, Natick, Framingham, over 100 years old.
Brookline and Newton North.
Brookline, Newton North. I mean, just in the Bay State Conference alone, you've got so many of these, you know, sort of age-old rivalries that just year after year, no matter what the circumstances, really always seem to provide a lot of excitement. And obviously, this game here, you know, to top them off, although we are biased in that regard, but
just a little bit.
Just a little bit. Yeah. And our floor director James Joyce giving us some directions here.
Yeah, we do want to thank all of our crew.
Yes.
We're gonna talk about all of them as this broadcast goes.
Oh, definitely. As McDowell back to throw, and that time can go nowhere. He could die. Get away from that one. There's a flag on the play. We'll have to check that. It looked to be in the area of holding.
I can't imagine that was holding, considering how many red jerseys just came in and nailed McDonald.
Well, we're gonna find out here. The referees are. It looks like it's gonna be against Needham, as Wellesley's offense is coming out onto the field. We'll see the call. It's a chop block against Needham. But obviously they'll decline that penalty, and Wellesley gets the sack and will take over on downs here.
Apparently Needham can't execute a chop block very well, because I don't see too many guys that actually were blocked, because that's like one of those old Tecmo Super Bowl plays where you pick the right play and the defense just swarms in and tackles everybody.
Yeah, McDonald, I mean, we've seen him escape a couple times, but that time there was no escaping the Wellesley defense on that one. They were on him in a hurry. As a handoff here to Seagull on 1st down, and he picks up a short yardage there out across the out close to the 35-yard line. So picks up 3 here as the first quarter winds down here. Again, Wellesley with a 14-0 lead here as we round up the first quarter. And Wellesley, I mean, you know, well, it's been all Wellesley this first quarter. Defensively making the plays, and offensively, like I said, a couple of big plays. You know, the Seagull run for the touchdown the first drive, and then Perez and Iona hooking up there on 4th down to make it 14-0, which is where we stand again as we end this first quarter of play.
That drive right there, I mean, that was a perfect opportunity for the Rockets. You know, Wellesley turned it over, and the Rockets had a short field. They had it in Wellesley territory to start things off. So, I mean, that was a great opportunity for the Rockets, and unfortunately they couldn't make it happen. And they had that great play to Hibberts that was sort of knocked away at the last minute.
I mean, they did have one sort of big play there by Reed to start off the drive, but unfortunately could not, like you said, Mike, capitalize on that. So we'll see what the second quarter brings as the teams will trade ends here. And again, you know, you just keep looking around, and it's like, no matter what, I mean, you know, obviously last year with the cold, I think it turned a few people away, but I mean, with
it's still, there was a lot
There were a lot of
people
people there last year, too. And this year, I mean, the field is lined basically all the way around. The stands are completely full on both sides.
This is what we hope for, and this is what we like to see, is everybody coming out for it, or as many people as possible coming out for this game.
Certainly, and, you know, we definitely, you know, as we said, we want to give a huge shout out to the crews for both both Wellesley Media and the Needham Channel. We'll talk about them more as we go along here.
Absolutely.
But great collaboration, as always, by both channels on this Thanksgiving broadcast. As to start the second quarter, Siegel, the ball carrier again, gets stacked up there for a very short gain.
And to so many of us, I mean, this is an honor to be out here, even though it's obviously a lot of work for all of us. But I know me. I love coming out here and being a part of the Thanksgiving broadcast, whether I'm behind the scenes, whether I'm on the mic.
Yeah, I mean,
it's a pleasure for me.
I was realizing this morning, this is my 10th straight game announcing the Thanksgiving broadcast.
10-year anniversary.
Yeah, exactly. And so it really is special. I mean, being an alum, as I'm sure, you know, Mike, you know, you being a Needham alum, me being a Wellesley alum, to sort of stay with our alma maters here and be involved in such a great rivalry, even, you know, 15, 20 years down the road. It's really just something that's really special. As Mayona's going to throw here, he completes it there on the far side, but again, a very, very short gain as Needham read that perfectly. It was all tough on the reception, and now Wellesley, for the second drive in a row for them, is going to be forced to punt here.
Yeah, geez, did he actually lose? No, he gained.
I think he actually lost a yard.
Yeah.
Because it was 3rd and 7, now it's 4th and 8. So doing some quick math here.
I was just going to say he lost a yard on that. That's interesting.
So Mayona will be back to punt. So let's see. Pretty decent kick there. Sending Hibbert's back to about his own 20-yard line. He scoops it up here, trying to get away from the Wellesley tacklers, and is able to get a little bit away, get out of bounds at about the Needham 23-yard. But what a punt there by Mayona, showing the boot on that one.
You think the wind might have taken that a little bit? Because
yeah, that one, like I said, just
either that or Hibbert's just misjudged where it was going, because that one just sailed right over his head, and he fielded it on the bounce. He could have just let it go, but I'm sure Hibbert's wants to make something happen. You know, this is his last game. He's been playing with this team I think he's been on varsity for 3 years.
Yeah, I know he was making an impact back in the 2017 game 2 years ago as a sophomore. So he
wants to make a splash in his final game. He wants to make something big happen.
As handoff there, I believe that was Reed, the ball carrier, again and again gets that Wellesley run defense, as they've been doing, just stacking them up for little to no gain on that one.
Yeah, Reed's been looking for some room. He had that one run where he got 20 yards, but other than that, he really hasn't had a whole lot to, a lot of room to move. So I mean, no gain on that play, and I think that's the 4th out of 5 carries by Reed where he's either had no gain, 1 yard, or lost a yard.
So 2nd down and 10, they say no gain at 23, and we have some movement. Prior to this snap, it's going to be a false start in Needham. So, I mean, Needham, when you're trying to get the offense to go, you definitely don't want to see a play like that, where now instead of 2nd and 10, it's going to be back to 2nd and 15.
Yeah, the Rockets' offensive line has had certainly some growing pains, and, it's a learning process for them. The Rockets lost a very, very big senior class last year that were, on both sides of the ball, really. They had so many guys who were such key players. So, they've had guys that have been growing into their roles, and, obviously it's a little tough for Needham to have that, but, they're learning.
2nd and 15 now. They give it to Reed on the outside, and again going nowhere. I think he may have actually maybe lost a little bit on that play. As again, Wellesley doing a great job of sort of containing that outside, and it's going to bring up a 3rd down and pretty long here for the Rockets.
He just lost 5 yards on that play.
Oh, wow. No gain.
No gain? What, did he lose 5 on the previous?
The false start, Mike.
Oh, the false start. Thank you, Robbie. I'm like trying to keep stats with my hand doesn't have the glove on, and I'm just like, wait a minute here. Okay, there we go.
Yeah, we have official color analyst / stat man Mike Levin.
Sorry, I'm used to doing multiple things at once when we do these games. Right?
We got timeout Needham.
I could just be announcing, I don't have to keep stats.
No, you're making the choice. You're making the conscious choice to keep stats for this game.
Do more work, Brilliant move, right?
But they're going to say 3rd and 16 coming out of the timeout. And So let's see what Needham does here. It's interesting because, you know, they sort of started out the game in a lot of shotgun formations, but now, like, this drive has been mostly under center here for McDonald. So we'll see if coming out in the third down long, if they stay under center, if they go to the gun here, maybe try to air it out a little bit here on 3rd and 16.
One thing that's really cool about both of these teams is that back in the day, both of these teams were kind of like run first kind of teams. So to see them go to the air this much now, it's like it's a lot more fun, I think.
As McDonald was out of the gun, takes the snap, and he is going to be dropped back inside the 10-yard line. Well, again, just that Wellesley, the pocket collapsed around them very quickly. Nothing McDonald could do is he's thrown down for a loss, and Needham is going to be forced to punt again.
And that's another one of those issues on the offensive line where Wellesley sends a guy, he gets through, and McDonald just does not have a chance to do anything. And he's had multiple plays in this game where he's been able to elude the pressure coming, but on that play, he couldn't do anything with it. And, you can't really blame him.
Yeah, so the punt will come here from the back of the Needham end zone. It's actually a pretty good kick. It's going to be fair card right at about midfield there. So actually a really nice kick there to actually push Wellesley back to midfield, because you would thought they would have gotten much better field position than that. So actually you can kind of take that as a victory for Needham to have the ball back right there.
Yeah, because that punt was deep in the end zone. So that's like I guess it's technically like a 50-yard punt, but actually it was probably more like a 60-yard
I was about to say,
punt.
yeah.
It was like way back in the end zone.
So 1st and 10 from midfield. 8:08 to go here in this opening half of play. Again, Wellesley with that 14-0 lead. Looking for more here as Mayona will be out of the gun. Single back and 4 receiver split as Mayona back to throw, taking some pressure, and he's going to be sacked. The ball comes out, but is recovered by Wellesley right away. So good coverage down there by Needham as Mayona was not able to find a receiver kind of to step up in the pocket there, and ends up being taken down, and lucky that he didn't lose a fumble there as well as he was able to fall on it.
That looked like one of those wide-eyed plays. All of a sudden you make the play, all of a sudden the ball comes loose. It's like, oh my God, and then the Wellesley player falls on it. So that's that's certainly the first time that Mayona's been sacked in this game. So the Rockets sort of respond after McDonald got sacked.
Exactly, so it'll be 2nd and 13, balls back in Wellesley territory now at the Wellesley 47. So, and it's interesting to see Wellesley, try to go to the air there on 1st down. Usually they've been running the ball on 1st down, but try to go to the air there, and now they go on the ground as a seagull and gets back to the original line of scrimmage there, but not much more as Wellesley, the Needham defense there, stacking up really quickly on that. It's going to be a 3rd down and about 10 here for the Raiders.
Yeah, maybe, yeah. I was going to say he got like...
Oh, there you got one more. Okay, you got one more yard than the original line of scrimmage.
That's like a 4-yard gain or so? Okay. Sure, okay.
It looks less than it apparently is from up here.
It didn't look like he got 4 yards out of that, so that's interesting. That the Rockets did a great job, though, sort of converging on him.
So 3rd and 9 from the Needham 49 as Mayona back to throw. Looking long. He's got Perez out there. Perez makes the catch. Breaks off a tackle. He is going to be gone. Touchdown, Raiders. What? Hey, Ro, we do have a late flag that comes in. Maybe, is that?
On the little block there at the end.
We're going to have to check the flag here because,
I think so, because
the weird thing is it came in after the touchdown. But we're going to have to see here what the call is. But that was a great completion there from Mayona to Perez, and
Perez again running that perfect route. No one around him.
And it's interesting. If it is indeed on the block, it's really, I don't know if there's really need for that block because it looked like Perez was away from the defender anyway.
Right, he was past him. Yeah, he was past him. That's what's so strange.
We have it's after the play. It's going to be after the play. Personal foul against Wellesley. They are going to say it's a touchdown. So Wellesley does take a 20-0 lead here, and I guess they will enforce the penalty on the kickoff.
Touchdown is good.
But the flag came in like after he'd already scored, so I was surprised if it was going to be on the block. I thought it would come in a lot sooner.
Well, that's one of those things. He's like sort of crossing the end zone as that block happens, and so it could have been one of those things like, oh, well, it's during the play, and so no touchdown. It's like, oof. But I think it happened like right after he crosses it, so it's after the play.
And Candace's kick is up and no good. Mr. Wide left, so Wellesley unable to convert the try there, but it is still 20-0 Raiders here. 6:21 to go in this opening half.
Yeah, ultimately for the Raiders, the end game is you get the touchdown, and now you've got that 20-point lead. I didn't even realize we're that far into the second quarter
halfway through the second quarter,
wow. Yeah. Time flies in the oldest public high school football rivalry in the country.
And again, that's our dynamic duo of Mayona and Anthony Perez hooking up again for their second TD, sort of hookup of the game. And,
right, and Perez has 2 receptions. They were both
touchdowns.
So he's got 63 yards on the 2 touchdowns.
Yeah. So, but again, Wellesley will have to tee the ball up here from 15 yards, sort of further back. So. Needham with the potential here to get a good return, and depending on where this kick goes, and Wellesley will tee it up from their own 25-yard line. So, I mean, if you're Needham here, Mike, you know, you don't want to let this game get too far away from you. You got to find something offensively to sort of ignite you here if you want to get back in this one.
Right, and that's the thing, is that after that penalty, hopefully for the Rockets, they can get something going here. Yeah, and it's a short little
kickoff. Taking in there about the 45-yard line, and it's going to go into Raider territory here, so the Rockets will get really good field position here at about...
No, I was going to say, I think it was Ben Leslie, if I'm not mistaken, number 44, who fielded that one.
Okay. As it will be Needham ball setting up at their, or excuse me, not their own, what am I talking about? At the Wellesley 48-yard line. I don't see the ball anywhere right at the moment.
Right, I don't see it spotted anywhere.
Where's the football? Oh, there it is. Oh, the official's bringing in from the far side. I was like, you know, you kind of need a football to play football.
What do you mean, Robbie? You don't need a football.
Invisible
ball. They've got a basketball out there instead, right?
So it will be 1st and 10 from the Raider 48 as McDonald under center here. 2 backs in the backfield, and they pitch it outside to Reed. Reed's got some room to run on the outside, and the hole kind of closed quickly there, as we do have a late flag that comes in on that Needham sideline, and possibly from the early, I was about to say the early indications are that it'll be against Wellesley, so this could be a big break here.
The early indications as in the not too happy fans on the Wellesley side.
Is a personal foul against Wellesley, so that's going to be 15 yards and a 1st down, and so nice little break there for Needham now.
Yeah, so like a 5-yard or so gain turns into 15 or so?
Yeah, so they'll push the ball back to the Wellesley 28-yard line. So about 20 yards, all things considered.
I thought that they changed the personal foul rules where it's only 15 yards.
Well, but it was 15 yards from the end of the run.
From the end of the run, yeah.
So if he picked up 5 plus 15 would be 20, Mike.
There you go.
As we have another handoff here. And I believe that was Reed again, the ball carrier, and gets another about 4 or 5 yards on the play. So Needham quietly kind of knocking on the door a little bit here again, close to that red zone here. They've been down here one time before, but couldn't come up with points. Looking for more success here as we enter the second half of the second quarter.
As I say, the Rockets were in Wellesley territory once before, and they were close. They threw one to the end zone, and Wellesley knocked it away.
2nd and 5 from the 22, and that time Reed goes absolute nowhere. They're gonna say about a loss of 3 on the play, looking where that official was, but that could have been even worse, as just completely stacked up by that Wellesley defensive front right there.
Not much to say on that.
Yeah.
He lost, what, 2 yards?
3 yards, yeah. So it'll be 3rd down and 8 for the Rockets back, excuse me, back to the 28-yard line, or excuse me, back to the 25-yard line. And we have a whistle here and another timeout. Timeout Wellesley. They will have one timeout remaining, so Wellesley obviously wanting to chat about something defensively here. And, you know, it's interesting, Mike, you know, you look at the last 10 meetings between these two teams, very close in terms of the overall record. I think in the last 10, Needham holding a 6-4 edge. But, I mean, all these results, you know, just constantly close games like we've been talking, you know, 14-13 last year, 23-20 the year before that. Obviously, Wellesley in 2016 kind of ran away with that one. But again, you know, Needham with a 12-7 win in the Fenway game, and you know, so really, you know, not a lot separates these teams in terms of overall record, last 10 meetings, scores. I mean, it's a very, very close rivalry.
Well, one of the interesting things about this 94 game that I was telling you about that I did this special on is that up until that point, Wellesley was dominant. They won 6 straight games in the rivalry. It's the most wins by either of these teams throughout the history of this rivalry. And since then, Needham has not only sort of been right there with Wellesley, but it's been back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And a lot of these games, not all of them, but a lot of these games have been close.
Absolutely, absolutely. By the way, you can check out that special if you're in Needham watching this. You can check that out tonight on the Needham channel, correct?
Yep, it's online as well.
So McDonald's going to roll up here. He fumbles the ball, and Wellesley recovers. Boy, you could see that developing there as they tried a little play action there, but McDonald, you could see that was going to go nowhere for him, and another turnover for the Rockets as the Raiders are going to take over at about their own 30-yard line.
Yeah, that is absolutely just a heartbreaker for the Rockets right there. They had the momentum, they had things going for them, and then again, they lose the fumble right there, and they give it back to Wellesley, and down 20 points, that's just tough. Tough.
You hate to see it. You hate to see it.
You really do. I mean,
for
Needham, I mean, it's, you know, they've had a tough season, so you want to see them as a Needham fan, you know, you want them to, you know, turn things around, and it's tough when Wellesley is good and the Rockets, you know, they have bad plays like that. That's very tough to take.
But it's interesting as we see a first down run here to, I believe that was Siegel again, and he gets stocked up for no gain. It's interesting because Needham, since they went to the new playoff format back in 2013, has made the playoffs every single year under the new playoff format, including this year. Like I said, like you were saying earlier, Mike, they were the AFC, and they did run into a buzzsaw that was Catholic Moore, who, by the way, will be playing a week from Saturday in the Division I state championship game.
Against St. John's Prep, right?
You know, nothing to be ashamed of there. I mean, CM just has been #1 from start to finish this year.
And the Rockets had a big win at the end of the regular season against Walpole to get them into the playoffs. So that's the thing. It's like the Rockets only 2 wins this year, but hey, they're still a playoff team.
Yeah, so the loss of 4 on the play there. Second down 14 back at the 28 is Mayona's going to keep it himself, and looks like he may have had some room to run there, but gets closed up quickly there, and it'll bring up third down here for the Raiders.
Rockets did do a good job of closing that hole, and Mayona was pretty quick to try to get to it, and so he still picked up a nice chunk of yardage there.
Certainly.
7 yards.
On the play.
Yep, 3rd and 7 coming up as the clock ticks down here. About 3 minutes to go in this first half. Very quick moving first half, I feel like, as the Raiders, like I said, with that 20-0 lead.
The second quarter in particular has been very fast moving, it feels like. The first quarter it was a little bit, you know, chugging along a little bit.
There's a handoff here to Siegel, and he breaks free and gets the first down. So looks like he was going to be bottled up there short, but able to break free and pick up the first down close to midfield. So the Raiders on a 3rd down line, they're able to move the chains here.
Yeah, it's about a 14-yard pickup for Siegel, and he's had, I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 rushes already. And I mean, that's only the second one that he's had for more than 10, but still, he's been picking up yardage. He's been picking up a nice little chunk of yardage.
Certainly is. Again, 1st and 10 from the Wellesley 48-yard line. As Mayona, they got 3 receivers split to the top of your screen, as Mayona's going to keep it himself, and that time only able to gain a couple before he was kind of stacked up there by that Needham defensive front. So Needham, they have shown the ability to stop the run for
right.
the, especially after that first drive. They have really clamped down, but unfortunately, when your offense is having trouble scoring points, it's tough. It's tough when you get two big pass plays against you, and all of a sudden you're down 20-0 with the way the Wellesley defense has definitely been shutting down the Needham offense so far today.
And when you turn the ball over, that does not help against a team like Wellesley.
Certainly doesn't. So they're going to say there's no gain on that play. So second down, Ted Ball still at the 48. A minute and a half to go in this opening half as they give it on the outside there. That's Siegel again, and that any room sort of closed up quickly there as it's going to be a short pickup, maybe about 2 or 3 on the play, bring up a 3rd down and 7 as the clock ticks down, like I said, to about a minute left to go in the half. By the way, Needham will receive the second half kickoff, so something to watch out for there. The Rockets will look to go in a half and try to make some adjustments, try to find a way to get back into this game here. Again, trailing by 20 points. Approaching halftime here, so it'll be a 3rd down 5 they call as Mayona back to throw. He's looking long. He's got a receiver out there. It's Kai, and we get a flag on the play. A late flag comes in as that pass was complete to... Again, it's hard to see that number across the field. So, but we do have to check the penalty flag. Pass interference against Wellesley. Wow. Not often you see an offensive pass interference call, but that's what we see right there. So that long pass play is going to be all for now as the Raiders will be backed up here.
Yeah, number 4,
Wedner Cadet. Okay.
Yep.
It was between Perez and Cadet for me as to who caught that. So thank you, Mike, for that diligent observation.
Wow, they're really...
Yeah. So replay 3rd down. It'll be 3rd down and about halfway between here and Newton now. As clock ticking under 30 seconds to go.
The scoreboard only says
3rd down 5. Yeah, no, it's definitely down 3rd and 5. Yeah. As Mayona again back to throw and... Pass is incomplete, falling there. It looked like Altoff was the intended receiver, but pass floated a little bit on Mayona there. So 4th down here, and it looks like the Raiders will have to punt this one away with 17 seconds left to go in the half.
I'm actually somewhat surprised that Wellesley didn't just call a run play right there, just keep the clock running. Then we probably could have gone to halftime, but nope, they throw the pass, and now we got 17 seconds.
And we have a balloon. We have a balloon.
Yeah.
The balloons are taking off.
Balloon. Are there 99 of them in there? 99 red balloons?
I'm just afraid it looks like it's coming down right into the path of Mayona there. He is able to get the punt away as it is picked up there. I believe that is
Hibberts, yep.
No, that is Hibberts. So, and he is going to take it out close to the Needham 40-yard line where he will get stacked up. So, should be one more play here in this opening half. 5 seconds remaining. So we'll see if you're. If you're Needham here, do you just kind of run, take a knee or run?
You would think that, you probably just take a knee right there. But
Hail
you never
Mary!
know. Yeah, I was just saying, Hail Mary, what the heck, just to see what happens. But no, I would expect that Needham would probably just take a knee here and go to halftime.
So, 1st and 10 from the Needham 39 as the Rockets will bring out the offense for one last play of this opening half. As back to throws McDonald. He throws a screen pass out there to Reed, and Reed is going to be going to be bottled up there and taken down, as that'll bring us to the end of the first half of play. So after one half, hold on a second, folks. Stay with us here as we have a couple late flags on the play. Now the game cannot end on the half cannot end on a defensive penalty. So I'm not sure. Could these be offsetting penalties? We're gonna.
I guess we'll see. Yeah.
The officials sort of conferring here, trying to figure things out. Now talking to Coach Jesse Davis. Would love it if they would tell us what's going on, but that's the one thing about high school football is the referee is obviously not mic'd, and it's going to be unsportsmanlike but it looks like it'll be offsetting. So that is going to do it for the first half of play. So after one half of play, it is Wellesley 20, Needham nothing, and it's the 132nd installment of the oldest public high school football rivalry in the country. We're going to step aside, everybody, and we will be right back with second half action on both Wellesley Media and the Needham channel. Stay tuned.
Score here at Wellesley High School.
This game is brought to you in part by Louise Condon Realty, serving Newton, Wellesley, Dover, Dedham, Medfield, Natick, Millis, and of course, Needham. Go Rockets!
And welcome back, everybody, to Wellesley High School as we are ready for second half action on both Wellesley Media and the Needham channel, as Wellesley with a 20-0 lead as we start the second half over Needham. Robbie Johnson, Mike Levin here, happy to be with you for this 132nd Thanksgiving broadcast here. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. And Mike, just sort of wrap up that first half. I mean, what more can you say? That was all Wellesley that first half.
Yeah, Tyler Reed had a 20-yard run at one point, but other than that, the Rockets really didn't move the ball at all. And Wellesley, I mean, they didn't tear it up, but they didn't really need to, because you had Siegel, 9 carries for 43 yards, Mayona, 5 for 49. Mayona was actually only 4 of 12 through the air, but 89 yards and 2 touchdowns, both to Perez, who has 63.
Those 4 completions.
So that's pretty much the story right there. And of course, the Rockets also had 2 lost fumbles, which are the other. Yeah. That's the other big thing.
Well, both teams with a turnover, at least one turnover in that first half, because obviously you had
Mayona
Wellesley
through an interception.
By the way, the kickoff there, Needham received that second half kickoff. The kickoff came from the 25 because as I said, we had an unsportsmanlike conduct against Wellesley to end the half. So Needham will take over here at about their own 40-yard line. So let's see if the Rockets can sort of come out second half and maybe try to get back in things here. You never know. You never know.
Wellesley's getting used to kicking from the 25.
I know,
That's the second time
I know.
to do that.
As McDonald, it's first and 10 from the 41. McDonald under center, made a motion. It's Hibberts. They pitch it out to him, and Hibberts took a very long path there to the outside. It gets bottled up for about a loss of 5 on the play. He went about halfway to his own end zone for that one.
By the time Hibberts got that, he was kind of like 5 yards deep. So yeah, that's. That's a little tough to find the real estate to get yardage there.
When you're trying to get back in the game, it doesn't help when your first play from scrimmage is a 5-yard loss or more.
God, yeah, that one's more. That could be a 10-yard loss.
9-yard loss. They call on the play. Second down, 19, back to the 32 of Needham. So definitely not what you want to see there if you're the Rockets. As McDowell again under center. Again, they pitched out to Reed, and Reed gets up close to about the 40-yard line there, so pick up maybe about 6 or 7. But still, it's going to bring down a third down and very long here again. I feel like we've been saying that a lot today. Third down, very long here for the Rockets.
Yeah. and the thing is that you try to do what Reed just did there. You pick up chunks of yardage and try to just slowly get back in it. So we'll see. I mean, that's 6 yards. Okay,
yeah.
That's a good start for the second half for Reed. It's just too bad that
the first play was a loss of 9.
Yeah. Play.
So third and 13, ball at the 38 of Needham. As McDonald under center. And another pitch out here. Oh, they run a reverse. A little halfback pass. And it's launched up and batted down. As he threw that one into double coverage there. It was intended for number 85. That was Barnett again, the intended receiver. But Wellesley defended that perfectly in the secondary, and it's batted down for a 4th down for Needham.
I keep on referring to this 94 game, but that play was sort of the winning play for Needham in overtime, where they sort of did this halfback option pass into the corner of the end zone. But yeah, I mean, it's that Needham pulling out the trick plays and then down 20-0.
Yeah, it's punt there, fielded in there by Dolan, and he gets it to about his own 35 before he's met. So Wellesley will take over here for their first drive of the second half at their own 35-yard line.
The wind has sort of been picking up ever since we got here,
Yeah.
And it's like that cold wind. It was, like you said,
The sun
earlier.
was trying to make an
The sun
appearance
was trying to
earlier.
come
Now
out.
it's just cloudy, overcast.
It was raining earlier, so we're all
windy.
kind of like damp and stuff, and now it's like cold, and it's like, hard to.
But it's not. but it did not turn away this crowd. I mean,
No.
this has been a very impressive crowd here today as we have run and going nowhere. There is Seagull. Looks like he may have lost. Yeah, he lost about 3 yards on that play. So, good job by the Needham defensive front on that play. They're not letting Seagull go anywhere on that one.
That was a perfect defensive play by the Rockets, who. I think we've talked about this, that there have been plays on defense where Needham has looked fantastic stopping Wellesley, and then there are other times when Wellesley's got all kinds of time. They run these perfect routes. There's no Needham defenders anywhere near it. So
2nd and 14 at the 31 they called, so loss of 4 on the play as Iona back to throw, taking some pressure, now has to scramble to his right and is able to, almost completed it there to Perez. Perez almost made a nice diving catch there, but does end up falling incomplete. So it'll be another 3rd down and long coming up here, this time for the Raiders.
And the Rockets putting great pressure on Iona there, but he shows how well he can move and how well, he can thrive under pressure. And obviously that one wasn't completed, but it almost looked like it was going to be completed. So this is another big 3rd down for the Rocket defense to try to stop Wellesley, try to get decent field position, try to get something going on offense.
I feel like we've been saying that a lot so far this game. As it's 3rd and 14 for the Raiders from their own 31. Iona back to throw. Runs a screen pass here to Cadet, but good job of tripping up Cadet there. That was number 14 on the Rockets. That was Timothy Morley on the tackle there. Good job tripping up Cadet, not allowing him to get free, and the Rockets are able to force the punt here.
Yeah, Morley made a fantastic heads-up, leg tackle right there to stop Cadet from doing too much there. How much did he get on that? 4 yards?
Only 4 yards, so 4th down and 10 from the 35 as the punt is a pretty decent one as it'll be down inside the Needham 30-yard line there. So that's where the Rockets will take over for their 2nd drive of the 2nd half.
Getting the help from the wind on that one, because some of these kicks that have gone into that wind have just sort of, I don't know if they've necessarily died or it's just they haven't been good kicks or whatever, but yeah, that one, a very good kick in the Rockets. I mean, it's not terrible field position, but given the fact that they haven't been able to do a whole lot with it yet.
It'll be 1st and 10 Rockets from their own 30. The Rockets trying to align their receivers here. They have a 4-receiver split and a handoff here to Reed. And Reed breaking a couple tackles. Reed still going and finally gets knocked out of bounds at about the 35-yard line. So a tough 5 yards there for Tyler Reed as not going down without a fight on that one.
And again, it just goes to show that Reed can pick up big chunks of yardage, and right there he gets about 5 yards. He fights for it, and already he's got 2 carries this half, and both of them have gone for at least 5. So see if the Rockets can sort of add on to that.
You just don't want to lose 9 yards on the play before.
Right, which is what happened in the first one. Yeah.
2nd down and 5. We have a man in motion, and again they give it to Reed, and boy, Tyler Reed again just battling and rumbling and stumbling there. Picks up a good 3 yards on the play. So it's going to bring up a 3rd down short here for the Rockets. So, yeah, you're right. Tyler Reed, they've been giving the ball the 2nd half, and he's been at least, fighting for those yards out there, Mike.
I was almost going to say that they didn't move the marker, but yeah, now they mark it. So yeah, 3rd and
3.
About 3rd and 3. So yeah, Reed has been fighting for the yardage so far in his first 3 carries this half. He's looking pretty good.
So 3rd down, 3 from the 35. McDowell back to throw, and he completes it for the 1st down. That was a nice catch there by Chuckdow. Chuckdow. I'm going to have a hard time pronouncing that one. I apologize.
He's also the kicker for the Rockets.
Hold on a second. Wait, but hold the phone here, folks.
They're calling it back.
Flag.
Yeah.
They're going to say a hold against Needham. So a tough break because Needham did not have that many 1st downs in this one. And when they do pick up a 1st down, unfortunately, they're going to lose it now because of the hold. So tough break there for the Rockets.
It's possible the Rockets only have 1 or 2 1st downs for this whole game.
I know the one from Reed.
The 20-yarder.
I can't think of any. There was the personal foul first down. I think those may be the only 2 first downs we've had this game.
Right.
As they say, 3rd down and long here is McDowell back to throw. He throws it out there and off the fingertips of Shuckdow. Boy, it's too bad because he had him open. But we have a flag, another late flag on the play. Now what are they going to call? What are they going to call here?
So.
I think it's going to be against Wellesley this time.
Yeah, because I see
we have
Rockets clapping.
Unsportsmanlike conduct against Wellesley, so that is going to be 15 yards.
Roughing the passer or something?
No, he signaled unsportsmanlike conduct.
Right.
So I think there was a little bit of some not jawing, but it's a little bit of some extracurricular there after the play. Now, interesting, Mike, in the rule changes this year is that 15-yard penalties now is not automatically a first down. It has to beat the yardage. So I believe this is still going to be a fourth down for the Rockets, but it'll be 4th down and 4 as opposed to 4th down 19. But Needham, it's funny, even after a penalty against Wellesley, still is going to have to punt here.
Yeah.
So tough break there for the Rockets, not able to get the benefit of an automatic first down.
And that's one of those times where obviously it would have been nice to get the first down, but yeah.
Yeah. So Needham is back to punt, and we have Raiders back at their own 45-yard lines. It's Cadet, and he goes nowhere after receiving that punt, so he is going to be tackled at about his own 40-yard line. So with 7:02 to go in the 3rd quarter, the Raiders are going to take over once again here.
That was interesting because Cadet looked like he was almost going to sort of like wave it off, call it fair catch, and then he still started actually doing something with it, and the Rockets just swarmed him.
Yeah, good job by the Needham special teams there, again down there and covering that kick. So it'll be 1st and 10 from the 38 to begin another drive, the second half drive for the Raiders.
Yeah, right now with the Raiders, I think that they want to sort of, I don't know if they necessarily want to score quick, but they definitely want to get something to sort of put this game out of any possible reach for the Rockets.
Definitely. So 1st and 10 for the 38 is Mayona back to throw. They run a screen pass. It's Altoff, and he gets out close to midfield, picks up the first down. We have another flag. What is the late Oh, wow, and the indication of sports-like conduct against Wellesley. The Wellesley bench and Wellesley fans are incredulous here. Boy, I didn't even see what happened because it was behind the play. It was like right around the line of scrimmage after Mayona let go of that ball. But, boy, the Raiders are going to be backed up here 15 yards, Mike.
I've always felt that if you're on one side and you're booing a call and stuff like that, just think of it from the other side. Is it a good call or is it not a good call? If it's a good call, you probably shouldn't complain. But I mean, I don't know. I didn't
see what happened.
I didn't see what happened either. So I can't really judge one way or the other whether that's a good call or not. But I can understand.
Tough
frustration.
breaks here. So yeah, it'll be first at I think about 20. Yeah. So the. All I heard was something about turkey and the ref. So. We're just going to leave that one be.
I thought he said something like, go get your turkey ref or something like that.
Yeah, something, yeah.
Maybe he called the ref a turkey? I don't know. While we have a chance, Robbie, I just want to thank some of our crew here.
Yeah, absolutely.
So our Needham Channel sports producer, Chris Dugan, is directing this game, and assistant producer, Kristen Connors. Both of them in the truck. We've got Derek Reisner and Evan Eiler on the cameras.
Yeah.
Mark Mandel, our executive director.
And then for Wellesley Media, Rebecca Karen, our sports producer, and then James Joyce, executive director of Wellesley Media.
Everybody's doing a great job
today. A great job there on this Thanksgiving broadcast. Mayona is going to keep it himself and falls ahead. And so it's interesting on that. So they moved the sticks back and said it was a 1st down and 10. So it's going to be about 2nd down and about 6 call here. But yeah, you're absolutely right, Mike. I mean, what a great job by our crew today, as always. Really, they get up early, they come out here, they set everything up, and it's just, a great production every year in and year out put on by both these two channels. And, we're the guys that
It's a great collaboration.
Yeah, it really is. And we're the guys that get to sit up here and, you know, just tell you what's going on, be the voices that you hear on the broadcast. But it really is, you know, the folks behind the scenes who really make this broadcast what it is. So very thankful for them on this Thanksgiving day.
We absolutely are, as Mayona gets a nice
first
chunk
down,
of yardage
yeah,
and a first down.
First down, yeah. Gets up close to midfield there. So the Raiders able to move the chains here. By the way, I'm very impressed by the Wellesley student section that has sort of come out today, making a nice appearance for this Thanksgiving affair, and they are actually out in full force for the New Bedford, the one home playoff game we had this year against New Bedford. They actually came out in full force.
Oh, okay.
As well, so always good to see, you know, especially on Thanksgiving Day, the student crowds and the crowds in general come out, and we have another whistle, and we have a false start against Wellesley, so that's going to back them up 5 more yards. And
That's a 5-yard penalty.
There certainly have been a good number of flags in this game.
Yeah, the yellow's been all over the field today. You wouldn't think so with, I don't know, but at least for Wellesley. I mean, Needham, I mean, maybe they would, you know, still a little bit inexperienced and stuff, so maybe they would have some issues. I remember they had at least one false start themselves, but that's definitely the first false start on Wellesley in this game.
I'm trying to think. Yeah, I think that might be the first false start. You're right, but first and 15 back at the 43. Mayona back to throw. He's going deep, and Perez just overshoots him on that one. Perez had broken away from the coverage there, but just a little bit overthrown, and you know, good break there for the Rockets because if Perez had hauled that ball in, he was probably going to be gone on that one.
That looked like such a perfect spiral going in there. I mean, obviously a little bit too far. Maybe he didn't get quite out there enough on the route, whatever it is, you know, not quite in tandem, but that just looked like it was going to be a huge play and maybe even the nail in the coffin of this game, but not quite, as it's incomplete.
So second and 15 from the 43. Mayona back to throw. He throws a screen pass out here, and it was intended for Dolan, but again, sort of overshot it a little bit there, and didn't really look like it may have really gone for all that much because the Needham read that play pretty well, but it'll bring up a 3rd down 15 here for the Raiders.
That's Mayona's 16th attempt of this game. He only has 5 completions.
Well, with this wind, I mean, he's been throwing some balls,
good passes
to open guys, but I think whether it's the wind or whatever, the ball's been just a little bit, I feel like we've been saying overthrow several times.
Yep.
When it's come to Mayona going deep, but you know, fortunately the conditions are what they are, what they are sometimes. You just got to make do. So 3rd and 15 from the 43. Mayona back to throw, again going deep. That time completes it to Perez. And Perez is going to be still going out across the 30-yard line. Boy, I thought Perez had been bottled up there a lot earlier, but able to push ahead out across the 30. And like I said, the Raiders, they're able to move the chains.
Yeah, that's about a 27-yard pickup for Perez, who makes some great moves after the catch. But yeah, that's a great completion for the Raiders.
The Raiders, it's funny, the Raider coaching staff, when they were trying to get the offense to hurry up a little bit there, and actually signaling to the band just to stop playing because they were trying to run the play. As we get Siegel, the ball carrier there, picks up a couple of yards as the winds definitely pick it up here. They did say that was about to be between 30 and 40 mile per hour gusts throughout the day, as that pass is complete to Cadet. Touchdown Raiders. Boy, the Raiders ran that play really quickly before we were beginning talking about the other play, and it's Mayona hooking up with Wedner Cadet. And just like that, with 3:34 to go in the 3rd quarter, it's now 26-0 Raiders.
And we've said it many times in this broadcast about how Mayona's really thrown some great balls, and that one no different. That one a perfect pass, perfect catch, perfect route, and a 27-yard touchdown. The Rockets going to go offside.
We have another penalty, and that's the second time on a PAT that the Rockets have been offside, so they'll move the PAT half a distance to the goal. And are they gonna? Oh, it looks like they might have thought for a second there about bringing the offense back out there, maybe for a little 2-point conversion. But no, they say no. Canada is going to stay out there for the extra point.
And they do.
As snap ball's down, kick is up. It looks good, and it is good. So again, 3:34 remaining in the third quarter, and it is now 27-0. Raiders on top. And I mean, you know, Mike, you looked at this game on paper, and you know, let's be honest. When you look at 8-2 versus 2-8, I mean, on paper, you had to have a feeling that Wellesley definitely the
This is kind of what we expected.
But yeah, but I mean, you would hope that I'm sure as a Needham fan that maybe Needham could get sort of keep it close. But I mean, Wellesley has just sort of set the tone here early from the opening kickoff, and really, just unfortunately for Needham, they just have not been able to really get anything going.
Yeah, just over 2 minutes into this game, Wellesley scored their first touchdown, and they've been sort of going strong ever since. And the Rockets did have some opportunities in this game to sort of try to keep it close, to try to get on the board and try to do something, but unfortunately, they just haven't been able to get that combination in this game.
Certainly is. Now Canada will kick off here from his own 40-yard line this time, not back at the 25. As kickoff comes up here, that's Reed, and Reed, he's got some room to run. Reed out across midfield, still going, and gets into Wellesley territory, and
well, Reed threw off the first guy that tried to tackle him, and then I think two more just sort of like went right on him. But yeah, Reed just trying to make as much happen. Reed is another one that's, in his last game,
yeah,
he wants to go out, with something big. And unfortunately, when you have your last game be a game like this, it's got to be tough.
Yeah, and certainly, and Mike, is interesting. If you look at the stats, you almost hazard to guess that Needham has just as much return yards as they do, like overall, offensive yards today, because you had that nice return by Hibberts early on. Speaking of Hibberts, they try to throw a little screen to him, and that was going nowhere regardless, but maybe a little bit of a miscommunication there. That ball goes well behind Hibberts and will fall incomplete.
Yeah, the Rockets at this point, the only one that has positive yardage on the offensive end is Reed. He has about 35 yards, but then if Hibberts had 9 yards lost, McDonald lost 5 yards on a fumble. They've had a couple of guys who have lost yards, so it's like the Rockets really, and they don't have any yardage in the passing game. They haven't had a completed pass.
Second attempt from the 47, as that time is complete.
There we go.
To Hibberts, and he picks up the first down to about the Wellesley 30-yard line there. So I think that's the first one. I mean, one of the few completions McDonald's had today, and a nice dart in there to Hibberts, and the Rockets, like I said, move the chains.
Yeah, Hibberts running a nice route there, and McDonald finally able to find somebody there, and now the Rockets are sort of in position to try to get some points on the board here.
First attempt from the 32, McDonald, and it's intercepted! Intercepted, thrown right to the defender there. That was Carl Callahan on the interception. McDonald threw right to him, and Callahan returns it into Needham territory. So, unfortunately, basically everything that could go wrong for the Rockets today has gone wrong. And you saw there, he threw it right to him.
And the thing is, Reed didn't even see it. His back was turned when McDonald threw that pass. And yeah, I was going to say that's a perfect interception. And the one thing you didn't want to see if you're Needham is to see him bring it all the way back for a touchdown. Of course, if you're Wellesley, you wanted to see that. That would have really been sort of the exclamation point on this game.
So 2:37 to go, and the Raiders will take over 1st and 10 from the Needham 33-yard line. And looks like Mayona there didn't really expect the snap, but he gets dropped back at midfield for about a 17-yard loss on the play. It looked like Mayona kind of did not expect that snap, and all of a sudden just was forced to do something with it, ends up taking a sack.
Yeah, 95 there for the Rockets just came right in there. Matt Hood. He's been a big player on the defense for the last 2 years for the Rockets.
So, second down and 27 here.
Although Hood is kind of, he was slumped over there for a second there.
Second down, 27, ball spot back in midfield. So, Mayona again will go the air here, runs a screen pass there to Cadet, and Cadet shook off one tackler, but was able to, was finally wrapped up. Needham fans again, I mean the Wellesley fans again wanting a flag. I don't know what for, but it's going to be no laundry on the field. It's going to be about third down and 20 at about the, or third down maybe about like 24, 23.
Yeah, get about 3.
Yeah, third down 24. They're going to call it from the Needham 47 as the clock ticking down here in this third quarter. As we come on 1 minute to go in this third quarter. So we'll see what Wellesley elects to do here. They definitely have been completing the long ball so far this afternoon. As Mayona is back to throw. He's looking across the ball. He's got Perez open and takes it inside the 3-yard line. He's not going to have the first down, but still, again, that hookup on. We have another flag on the play. It looks like it's going to be another unsportsmanlike conduct against Wellesley. Boy, just a laundry list of penalty flags in this game.
And it looks like it was toward the end of the play as opposed to the beginning.
It was right afterwards, yeah. So it's going to be, so the down is going to count. It'll be fourth down, but of course, Wellesley's going to be backed up beyond the original line of scrimmage here. And it's too bad because Perez, you know, had them at fourth down and relatively short, but now it's going to.
It looked like he gained about 15, 16, 17 yards, something like that. Now they're going to be backed up again.
Yeah, so Wellesley here probably in punting territory here.
You would think, yeah.
As we had a little bit of officials' time here as the official coming over here and talking to the Wellesley captains, trying to sort of, well, talking to both teams actually, trying to sort of maybe say, let's settle down and just stick to playing football here. I mean, I know it's a tense rivalry, you know, it's 27-0, but no need for all this extracurricular stuff.
Well, see, and that's the thing. I mean, it's a 27-0 game. You know, I know it's a big rivalry. I know it's always intense and stuff, but at this point, it's like, do you really need to do all that extra stuff? It's like, come on, guys, let's just, you know, finish this up and let's go home, enjoy your turkey, stuffing, cranberry sauce.
Yeah. Yeah, it's, I mean, that's the one thing, though, Mike, I will say about this rivalry is that, I mean, usually there's a lot of respect. You know, these teams want to beat each other, but there is a lot of respect in this rivalry. You know, in the games over there, you know, they shake hands and, you know, really, like I said, a lot of respect in this rivalry. By the way, I just want to point out really quickly that the Powder Puff game taking place yesterday over in Needham, the Wellesley girls took home the Powder Puff trophy this year with a 10-0 victory over Needham. So congratulations to them. They were doing their usual sort of victor's parade as that punt goes into the end zone for a touchback. Their victor's parade around the field at halftime there. And so another one of the traditions within the tradition of this rivalry, the Powder Puff game. And Needham is going to take over here at their own 20-yard line with 16 seconds left to go in this third quarter.
Yeah, there's a lot of different events leading up to the Thanksgiving game that surround the Thanksgiving game, you know, in both towns. I know Wellesley sort of had a, I don't know, a round table, some kind of event where they sort of looked at the different history.
So last week they had a, they're acknowledging Patty Hickey, the trainer for Wellesley, who actually was featured in the Boston Globe for the Faces of Thanksgiving article that came out just the other day. So definitely a stalwart of this Wellesley football program and the rivalry and Wellesley athletics in general. So, you know, big shout out to her.
It's interesting that they did. This is the Globe that did that.
Yeah, the Globe.
The Globe actually also interviewed Coach Johan for. There was I think it was a team back in '85 or something like that who had a kid who passed away at toward the beginning of the season, and they did they sort of dedicated the season to him, and there was a big. I remember my parents told me about this, and then I actually saw Coach Johan last week, and he was telling me about it too. So it was really like a fascinating story. My parents saved the Globe, so they're going to like show that to me today.
So
for
it is.
Thanksgiving.
So it is the end of the third quarter here. Again, Wellesley with that 27-0 lead as we make the turn and head for the fourth quarter here.
Yeah, the home stretch.
The home stretch, and but again, it's worth being happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Definitely, always a great time of year. And Mike, while we have a moment here, I guess sort of. What is your sort of? I know it's funny. A couple of years ago, Carl Schofield and I got discussing this. What is sort of your favorite Thanksgiving go-to food?
Chris Dugan asked me this on the car ride over from Needham, and he said, "You can't say turkey." And I said, "No, that's." Well, I didn't say this, but I was thinking to myself, like when people ask me this, I always say, "Well, my mother's turkey is kind of like the best thing about it," but I say either the stuffing or the apple pie.
I'd say the stuffing or pumpkin pie would probably be my two favorites. So
pumpkin pie is good too.
Yeah. So as we have a run here to Reed on the outside, he gets stacked up there for a short game, so it's going to make him a third down here for the Rockets. But yeah. Sort of people, we see some of the fans starting to make a living, even early eggs, and sort of go home,
already
start heating up the turkey, again, the turkey ready.
Well, heating up themselves.
Heating up themselves, yeah. Definitely. That's
sitting next to the oven, right?
Yeah. But definitely, and it's funny, they always say the turkey always tastes better on the side, for the side that wins on Thanksgiving Day.
Yes, you know what? Dan Scalia, who caught the winning touchdown of the '94 game, he said that. Was it Scalia or Dan Hopkins who threw him? It was one of the two. Said that in the roundtable we did for this special, that the turkey always tastes better when you get that win, especially the way they won it that year.
Certainly, and McDonald back to throw. He's going to air it out. He's got a receiver out there, and nearly picked off there by Perez as for the Rockets there, the intended receiver was
Tulin, Patrick Tulin.
Kind of had to play more of a DB role.
Yeah, and quite honestly, I do not blame the Wellesley fans for being a little upset. Yeah, Pat kind of got his hands in there a little bit. He didn't want to. But, the thing is, that wasn't the greatest pass either by McDonald.
Kind
Maybe
of
it got tipped or something like that. It maybe slipped out of his hands or something like that. So that was like sort of a wobbly one anyway. So it was kind of like up for grabs, I guess you could say.
So Needham will be forced to punt here, which is over a minute gone in this fourth quarter. As a short kick. And it is, I believe that's Dolan. Yeah, Dolan there kind of having to make a sliding catch on the punt return. But the Raiders are going to get more good field position here at about midfield. So, and you wonder here, if you're the Raiders especially, how long do you kind of, I know it's the last game, how long do you leave Mayona in there, or, do you start to go to sort of the reserves at all here as we go down this fourth quarter?
Well, not only that, I don't know how well you know the answer to this. Is like, do you think they'll still be passing it? Do you think they'll just be running the ball?
I think they tend to sort of go more on the running in the games where they've been up by a lot of points, but you never know sometimes. Just as I say that,
and they pass
just as I say that, Mayona looks to pass and it's incomplete. And the referee's bringing the flag out. Yeah, they're going to say that's going to be intentional grounding, as there was no receiver in the area. Unfortunately, being outside the tackle box does not immune you from intentional grounding in the NFHS rules that they are using.
So that was another new thing this year.
Yeah. So
wow, we're seeing a lot of that stuff in this game.
Yeah. So it will be a spot foul and a loss of down. So it'll be second down for the Raiders. Second down at about 20 or more.
And well, I guess the one good thing in this wind is the clock is now moving again, because usually during a penalty the clock would stop.
Yeah, well, I think with this score, I think there must be a running clock, because usually the clock would have after an incomplete pass.
Right, you would think so too. Well, also a penalty, yeah.
Yeah, as we have a run here to the outside and going nowhere on that. And, you know, obviously, you know, we talked about, you know, the seniors for both of these teams, you know, really, you know, a big day for them. Obviously, you know, unfortunately for Needham, it's been kind of a tough final game for these seniors, but just want to give a shout out to all the seniors on both these programs. You know, they've have had great careers here, you know, a lot of playoff appearances, you know, Thanksgiving wins for both sides of seniors, and, you know, definitely, you know, winding down their final time putting on a high school uniform. But
yeah, this particular senior class for the Rockets, it's got to be tough because they've only had one win on Thanksgiving, which was last year.
True, that's a good point. Yeah, because even their freshman year was that 2016 game when Wellesley kind of came over to Needham and won handily. But yeah, last year pulling off again that thrilling 14-13 win in the cold in Needham when you know, Wellesley did score and decided to go for two instead of kicking the extra point to try to tie the game. And Needham came up with the big stop and ended up being the difference maker there, as Wellesley is going to be back to punt here. It'll be 4th down and a high snap, but Iona able to get the kick away. Another nice kick, and Reed fair catches it about the 33-34 yard line of Needham. So that's where the Rockets will take over. 8:42 now remaining in this 132nd installment.
Now, one thing I will say about this senior class, even though they only have one win on Thanksgiving in the 4 years that they've been around here, they've had some memorable victories, even if it hasn't been on Thanksgiving. Certainly, I mean, there's been some great games for the Rockets. I know that there was a playoff game at home against Brockton. I think it was 2 years ago.
Yeah, I was just about
in overtime. That was just an amazing finish.
McDonald to throw it, almost picked off there by Perez, right through the fingertips right there. So McDonald has been picked off, or nearly picked off a few times on these last couple of drives, and almost went back the other way again there.
Yeah, that one, Perez, you could tell he had wide eyes towards the end zone as he saw that one. It just, yeah, you got to concentrate on getting it first, obviously. But
so 2nd and 10 for the 34. McDonald back to throw, taking some pressure. He is going to be sacked back inside the 30-yard line. Again, that Wellesley defensive pressure, which has just been, you know, mountainous the entire game. Again, getting to McDonald on that one, nothing that he could do there as he's taken down, you know, bringing him a 3rd down and very long.
Yeah, I mean, Wellesley, they've put a lot of pressure on McDonald in this game. They have sacked him a couple of times, but not a ton. I mean, I think that I have down as 3, but I feel like I missed 1 or 2, perhaps. They have 4.
I think you're right. So I'm trying my best not to blow off of this stand with this wind behind us here. It is a gusty one. Of course, like I said, it's coming right from our backs as McDonald back to throw. He nearly completed there.
Yeah, Chutkow went right through his hands.
So another 4th down coming up here for the Rockets.
You know, I keep on going back to this 94 game because it is going to be airing, the special that we're doing on this. But
if you haven't heard it beaten to death by us,
absolutely, because if you're a Needham fan and you want to see the Rockets win a game, watch the special because they win a game. Oh boy. But no, there was a really strong wind in that game too.
Yeah.
So it's like the wind always plays a part. That's another thing that's always seems to happen.
Needham going for it here on 4th and 16 is McDonald to throw, and it's incomplete along that near sideline, intended for Shuckdown on that one. So Wellesley, wait, hold on, we have a flag here. another flag. What's the call? It's a chop block against Needham.
It'll be declined.
So Wellesley's going to take over here inside the Needham 30-yard line. Kind of surprising here. I know it's 27-0, but still
trying to do something different. You know, they tried that. You know, the reverse pass that was incomplete earlier. You know, in a game like this, you want to sort of try to have fun with it, do something unexpected.
But Mike,
just hasn't worked out for me.
Yeah, but Mike, well, we have a moment here. Obviously, you've been involved in this rivalry as a Needham High student. Obviously, now at the Needham Channel, myself as a Wellesley High student for the Wellesley. What are some of I'm just curious. What are some of your favorite memories, even thinking back to your student days, or even now in your time as a Needham Channel?
That 94 game was obviously the most memorable. When I was in middle school was the 91 fake bomb scare on this field, which was quite memorable, and I remember that very, very well. But after that, I mean, the game I did 15 years ago, actually in Needham, the 2004 game, very somber atmosphere going in, but it ended up being...
By the way, there's a funny story that you and I were talking about off air. I was actually a freshman in high school for that 04 game. I was actually on the sidelines dressed for my 1 year of high school football. Was that 04 games? So it's just kind of like the one game you come for. This was the one game that actually played it or sort of dressed for.
Yeah, I mean, and it was a very somber atmosphere because of the tragic things that had happened before that. But then the game ended up being so exciting, and Needham came back and won that game. I mean, that really, really was an amazing, amazing game. And now, I mean, after being out of state for about a decade, I mean, I missed some of the really exciting ones in 2007, 2009, 2010. I was actually out in Springfield in 2015. I really wanted to go to that Fenway game. But that was a fantastic game, too, with the interception return for the touchdown. I think Needham had one or two fourth down
stops.
Not fourth down, but goal line stands.
One goal line stand. But there really have been some, I know for me personally, unfortunately my senior year was that 07 game when we lost in overtime. Jean Baptiste with the overtime touchdown run here at Wellesley High. But yeah, I mean, you think back to, I know the first game that I broadcasted for this rivalry was that 2010 game where Needham with the comeback overtime run. Mike Riley.
I knew as a kid, Mike Riley's little brother. Mark was, a great football player. And I remember coming back. Again, I was out of state for a decade, and I saw him at the Needham Boosters always bring in members of the Patriots every spring to play a basketball game, and Mark was actually a part of that. I remember seeing him. I'm like, Mark, the last time I saw you, we were like, you're looking up, but I'm like, but I saw that 2010 catch of yours. It was incredible. The one thing I will say is when I was in West Virginia, New York State, all this, every Thanksgiving I would always check out, especially because of things like Twitter and Facebook, I would always check out the Needham Channel feed to see what the score of Needham Wellesley. And when I was anchoring out of state, I would always mention the score of the Needham Wellesley game, even though I know that nobody out there had no idea what I was talking about.
He keeps talking about,
Although I will say this, in Utica, they actually have a really old football rivalry as well with their.
We have a fumble on the play as it was run to Dolan, and Needham recovers the fumble. So Needham is able to force a turnover there. So they're going to take over here. 5:01 to go in regulation.
Yeah, Marco Belabasakis does a nice job, and he made sure everybody knew that he had.
I will say the other game that stands out for me is that 2009 game when Wellesley down 27-20. Again, a game that was here, 27-20. They scored a touchdown, then went for two in the final minute and converted it. It was Michael Janey was the running back who scored the 2-point conversion. It definitely set this entire field, set the entire Wellesley sideline into delirium.
I'm sure, that was a great finish. I mean, that was actually a part of the special I did 2 years ago. We sort of did a little bit on that game as well.
Yeah, so like I said, just a lot of exciting games in this rivalry and a lot of various, as we have a completion here to Shucktow, and Shucktow breaking off a tackle. Shucktow still going. We have a flag though that comes in late. So
I think they're going to throw that on Everett's for his block.
This one may be coming back here, folks. So tail of the tape has been the Wellesley's dominance and the number of flags that have been thrown on both teams in this one. But as the sun making a cameo appearance.
Yeah, the sun. Oh my goodness.
Right. With about 5 minutes to go in this one.
Too bad the sun can't get rid of the wind. But hey, nobody's perfect, right?
Seriously, but we talk about weather, but I mean this game has been played in so many different types of weather. I mean, it's been cold. There's been games where there's been, negative temperatures. There's been games where there's been snow. There's been rain. There's been, temperatures in like the 50s and 60s.
I was just going to say, when was the last time it was like 60 degrees, sunny, no clouds in the sky?
I don't know about, I don't know about that, but
I'm sure it's possible. But
I know 2 years ago.
likely.
I know 2 years ago it was relatively on the warm side, all things considered. But I mean, last year's game, as we've talked about, was just a brew. By the way, the penalty was against Needham, so it's a first down, but it'll push the ball back to the Needham 19-yard line. As McDonald back to throw, he's looking long. He's got Hibberts out there and overshoots him a little bit, incomplete. So it'll be second down to 10 coming up here.
One thing I do want to say about McDonald, it'll be interesting to see what he does next year, because now he's had a year under his belt.
What year is McDonald's?
I think he's a junior, I believe. Yeah, he's a junior.
Junior, yeah.
He took over from Charlie Ogletree, who graduated last year, and Ogletree actually played a lot as a junior. He sort of split time with Charlie Sumner 2 years ago. And Ogletree played all of last year, so I mean, McDonald, this is his first year. You could tell that has been learning a lot this year, so it'll be interesting to see Will coming back next year and what he'll learn and bring into the Rockets next year.
Now we are blinded. It's the whole time blinded by the lights as McDonald gets sacked in the backfield again. Is unable to get rid of it there, so bringing up a third down very long as he sacked back to inside the Needham 10-yard line as Mike Levin now bringing out his little shades there.
Yeah, why not?
So, and you got, obviously we talked about the coaching staffs earlier, and Coach Jesse Davis of Wellesley took over this program back at the end of the the start of the 2012 season, I should say, and since then, only one losing record in his time as Wellesley's head coach. Has had a really successful coaching career, and I know obviously Doug Kopsko for Needham, his second year at the helm of this Rocket program, and
two playoff seasons.
A tough year this year, but yeah, 2 playoff appearances, and definitely his team, these Needham teams, even in the games that they lost this year, as you were saying, minus maybe the Natick and the Tewksbury, they were, in all the
other games. Well, in the CM game, yeah.
Yes.
Other than those, like every game was close. There was a game against Milton where they came back from 21 points down, tied it, and Milton came down the field and won on a field goal at the end. But I mean, Needham was in that game. They had that comeback. So I mean, they've had some really, really great games, even though they haven't, they only won 2. Oh,
we have more flags. Oh, no. Oh, this is not what you like to see. Both teams having to be separated a little bit here as Hibberts.
Hibberts.
Oh, no! Uh-oh. They got to get out there. Oh, no. You do not like to see this, folks. They do not like to see this as both teams rushing the field. Oh, this is very bad, folks. Both teams out there, both. Oh, my goodness. The clock's still ticking, by the way, but that's beside the point. Oh, this is not the way you want to see this game wrapped up. I mean,
not at all. That is,
I know it's 27-0, but I mean, they gotta, sort of, keep a bottle on things. I mean, this is supposed to be a respectful rivalry, and you don't like to see stuff like that.
Not at all. You do not want to see something like that at the end of the oldest public high school football rivalry in the country. I mean, it's.
I think they're discussing right now the referee's discussing with Coach Davis. I don't know if you think. If you wonder, maybe they'll, after something like that, continue the game. I know Coach Kopsko coming out now.
You think they call it right here?
This is just, just not a scene you like to see. I mean, it's.
You said it, Robbie. Absolutely. You don't want to see this.
No.
I think they're I think you're right. I think they're calling this.
Yeah, they're gonna call the game. So with 2 minutes left, both teams are gonna line up and shake hands, and that's going to do it. So despite, auspicious ending, Wellesley is going to win this one by a 27-0 final and avenge their loss last year to the Rockets. And Mike Levin, I don't know if we kind of need to put a cap on.
Never seen that before.
Yeah, never.
I mean, we've certainly seen like incidents,
shoving, but nothing.
But to have it end like that,
they're actually going to do the handshake, which is again really shame to see. But Mike, all that aside, Mike Levin, what are your final thoughts on this game?
Well, the ultimate thoughts I have is that Wellesley is just. I mean, their offense very impressive in this game. I mean, Mayona, Perez, I mean, they did some great things. I had some stats at one point, but I sort of stopped keeping them. I mean, ultimately, I know that Wellesley as a team rushed for over 100 yards in this game. Needham only had 1 completion, I believe, maybe 2 towards the end, but that's the thing, is that the Rockets couldn't get anything going in the passing game. Reed was the only one who got any positive yardage on the ground. So, I mean, that's what I'll sort of take off, is that the Raiders were very impressive. The Rockets just couldn't get anything going offensively, and then, the turnovers.
Yeah, certainly. So Wellesley ends their season 9-2. Needham will end their season at 2-9, and Wellesley extends their lead in the rivalry to 63-60 with 9 ties. So that is going to do it.
But quickly, let us quickly thank once again our crew who have been out here.
Absolutely.
Some of us since the crack of dawn. And for the Needham channel, I want to start with our director, Chris Dugan, our assistant director, Kristen Connors, our camera operators, Derek Reisner, and Evan Eiler, our executive director, Mark Mandel, who's sort of overseeing everything today.
Yeah, and Rebecca Karen and James Joyce for the Wellesley media. So that is going to do it for us here from Wellesley High School. For everybody on our crew today and for Mike Levin, I'm Robbie Johnson. Once again, the final score, Wellesley 27, Needham nothing. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody, and we will see you next time on both Wellesley Media and the Needham channel. Goodbye from Wellesley High School.
All season long, Louise Condon Realty brings Rockets football to your home. Louise Condon Realty, representing buyers and sellers since 1985.